There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonko table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonko table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yayo, folks. Welcome to the latest and the greatest from the Yonko table. That is the voice of Grandmaster Ken. Yes, folks, I am representing Kens, and we have a Barbie and another Ken today because what are we talking about? We're talking about the Barbie movie. That's right, folks. Barbie has just hit theaters, directed by Greta Gerwig, starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. And we're here to talk and review the Barbie movie and what an experience it was. But before we begin, we have to first put a little disclaimer. This is just simply a review, not a promotion of this film. And we stand in solidarity with the actors and the writers and everything that's going on right now. So just had to put out that disclaimer real quick. This is simply a review, and make sure you're doing everything you can to support them. With that said, this is the Barbie movie. I'm not alone to talk about the Barbie movie. With me, as always, is Dr. Ken Attorney. Dr. Ken. Barbie.
I am Kenough, as they say.
That's great. That's great. We love to hear it. We love to see it. That's the mentality we should all be striving for. Okay. We are not alone in this venture. We have one soul Barbie joining us. Let's see which Barbie is joining or coming out of the box this time around. All right, let's get into it. Goodness gracious, the Barbie movie. Relatively speechless, lost for words, just like the doll that I'm based on. Just a great, overly enjoyable film. Goodness, Dr. Barbie, what did you think, Dr. Barbie? Overall thoughts coming out of this film?
Well, I'll start with, I believe, was it the Air podcast where I gave an entire rant about my concerns with IP in Hollywood. And I feel that it is only fair that if I offer criticism and concern, that I also offer praise, because I really enjoyed my time watching this movie. I think I have a personal vested interest in Greta Gerwig's just entire filmography. I've enjoyed everything that she's made thus far. And this is one that is included in enjoying everything thus far. So I'm excited to be here to talk about it.
Yes, very well said. Greta Gerwig, goodness gracious. I don't think she can do any wrong as far as she's proven so far. But yes, not without critique. There's some simple critiques I'm sure to be had here. And that's okay. But yeah, overall, very enjoyable. Dr. Ken Attorney, do you feel similar sentiments coming out of this movie?
I do want to point out that whenever you Google anyone that's involved in the Barbie movie, they have a little animation effect that sparkles everywhere. Like, so if you Google Barbie or if you Google Greta Gerwig, you'll get a little Barbie sparkle. I like that. That's kind of nice.
They're not doing it for everyone. I just looked up Shooty.
Here, let me see if Margot. Let me see. I mean, Margot has
no love for Shooties, Ken. That's okay.
Oh, Margot's got it too. But no, I'm here for it. I'm here for Barbie. I wasn't. Oh, Ryan Gosling. Everyone's got it.
Oh, none for Kingsley Ben-Adir. That's okay.
I'm here for Barbie. I was one of those that was not like too hyped with the Barbie trailers. I wanted to see it, but I did see I did see some foaming at the mouth whenever a new trailer for Barbie would drop, and I'll be like, damn it, people are really excited to go see Barbie. This has to be the next big thing for the summer. I just wasn't seeing it from the trailers, but now having seen the movie, it's a fun film. I think it has its fair share of problems, but overall, I think this is one you need to go see first before you go see the other big blockbuster this weekend.
Oh, you're trying to pit the two against each other.
It's Barbenheimer week, baby.
Barbenheimer week. We haven't had a week like this since 2008. Goodness, how long ago is that?
The Mama Night.
Mama Night, or the Dark Mama.
The Dark
The
Mama.
Dark Mia.
The Dark Mia, sure. Yes, what a week we have here. But yes, Barbie movie. Whether you choose to see it first or not, that's on you, but I don't think you'll be disappointed. But how did we get here? This is crazy that we're here. Earlier in the year, we talked about how, just kind of movies are heading in a weird direction, a different direction. I think we talked about this a little bit when we talked about Air, when we had, a movie about the making of Nike, or the Air Jordan. We're getting these brand films. Is that what you called it, Dr. Barbie? Brand films?
Yeah,
IP?
some that are like attached to IP, some that are attached to brands. I think, frankly, they're doing anything possible to center a movie around something that people already have familiarity with in the hopes that that will get them to the theater. And I get that, I guess, from a business standpoint. My worry, which is what I expressed, a couple months ago, is how will the creativity be able to, like, exist alongside that business prospect? And I think something that I did appreciate about this film, and I agree, I think both of you already alluded to, there's some criticisms, things that I wish maybe was a little bit different. But overall, what I really appreciate is that Greta kind of took a swing and saw what was possible. And I think a lot worked for me. I could see ways in which it may not work for other people, or they may not connect to it as much, because I think there's some satire elements, there's some comedy, there's a little bit of heart, which is always embedded in a lot of Greta's movies. But I think my concern is if we make brand-based movies or IP-driven, movies, or continuously making all these remakes and sequels without trying to make it fresh or trying to take risk. And that's what felt a little different, and something that I could appreciate about at least what Barbie tried to do.
I've tried. Can we say it succeeded? As far as you said, Greta Gerwig took a swing. How do we add the creativity into these films, these brand films, these IPs across the table? I think y'all disagree or not, the creativity was here. This was it. I think this is how you do it. This is the standard for, taking this IP, how to make it original, add this flair of creativity, and just overall be fun. I definitely had more fun here than I did in the Air Jordan film, for sure. And then also too, this is such a departure from Greta Gerwig. If you are familiar with Greta Gerwig, Dr. Barbie, I know you are. Dr. Ken, are you familiar with the work of Greta Gerwig?
I unfortunately am not, but I'm sure you're about to tell me.
I mean, listen. I'm sure Dr. Barbie could speak more about her than I can. I am a proponent of Little Women, and that was a phenomenal film. And funny enough, that's like the second remake of that film. And I don't know what Greta Gerwig did behind the director's chair. I don't know. You're just really engaged with the stories and the characters. I think she really takes her time with fleshing out, like Barbie's Barbie. Who knew Barbie had depth? Who knew?
Layers like an onion.
I think, like an onion. I think Greta Gerwig knows how to explore character pieces, and really well thought out. So I'm a proponent of Little Women. That's all I can say. But we also got to give a shout out to Noah Baumbach, co-writer scripted the Barbie film as well. I think he's collaborated with Greta before as well.
Yeah, they're
wow.
partners.
Oh yeah, they're partners. They're partners.
Mhm.
Great, cool. Was this? I don't know. Can we? Are we here to give credit to Greta Gerwig where credit is due? Can we do that real quick before we deep dive this thing?
I mean, absolutely. For those who maybe aren't as familiar, I hope that you are if you're listening to this podcast, and if you're not, this is her third feature film. So she started off as an actress. You may have seen her in films like 20th Century Woman, Frances Ha, and her first feature debut was Lady Bird, which she followed up then with Little Women, and then this is now her third film. And all of her films center around experiences of women and girls at different stages. So Lady Bird is very much focused on adolescence and like late teenage years, kind of coming of age in the early 2000s. Of course, Little Women is based off of the book, and it explores both like younger years, adolescence, and kind of being an adult. And then, of course, we have Barbie here, which includes a lot of those same elements. So there's a pattern here of her really centering stories and experiences of women. And I always feel like after each film that I've watched by her, that she genuinely cares and is invested in giving you something to think about in terms of like what it's like to be a girl, what it's like to be a woman navigating relationships and life and change and transition and identity. And that's something I really appreciate, that like it is fully embodied, that and also in a way that doesn't feel like, I don't feel heavy leaving any of her films. Like there's a message that feels very resonant. I think even in there's a particular scene that I can speak to a little later, that I'm like, oh yes, I feel that so deeply. But it's felt in a way that is almost like I feel seen. Like, oh, okay, this particular line or this bit of dialogue or this interaction between characters, I can see how that's shown up in my own life. So it doesn't feel like there's a heaviness in addressing some of the challenges that are faced. So I think I just really, really appreciate Greta, and I'm excited by her as a writer, by her as a director, as a creator in general, as an artist. And she's one that I will always show up into the theater to see what it is that she's got for us.
Yeah, and I think she was the perfect pick for this film for all the reasons that you said. Yeah, she
You didn't
nailed it.
want Amy Schumer?
No,
No.
no, no, and that's all right.
In an alternate reality, we got Amy Schumer instead of Greta.
I don't think Amy Schumer was attached to directing though, just starring
And writing.
And writing, right. But again, I've heard mixed things about why she had to exit. I heard it wasn't much of a celebration of Barbie, which at the core of this film feels like a great celebration of Barbie as an IP, as a toy, as a icon, as whatever you want to call it. I think this serve really lifts it up. But at the core of this too, there's a giant, like, what's the word? Push or celebration of femininity or womanhood or what it means to be a woman. As Dr. Rika said, just Greta Gerwig nailing what it feels like. Not to say that I'm over here like, man, I get it. I don't think I'll ever get it, but I can empathize. I see what's going on here. And I think one thing I liked about this movie was they were not subtle with it. And I think that plays to the comedy that was showcased in the film. They're like, here's the message. If y'all don't get it by the end of the film, you missed the whole point. They said they're going to beat this in, but they beat it in a great comedic way with a lot of heart. And I appreciated that approach. Were y'all fans of the very direct approach, or would you have preferred a more subtle route that's revealed throughout the film?
When you say direct, you mean
They
that
told
one
you what was
scene,
going on.
that
They
one
told
scene
you.
with the, I like the more subtlety. I think that leads to more creativity in how like the message that was being sent throughout the movie can be portrayed in. I think this way with every movie. If you have to pause, I guess, the narrative and then just explicitly say what the purpose of the message is, I don't know. To me, that just kind of comes off as a little too preachy. I like digging for it. I like digging for it. And I feel like digging for it throughout the movie because I feel like Greta did a pretty good job layering all the interactions with Ken and Barbie and women expectations and men expectations. I liked reading between the lines and seeing like, oh wow, this is what she's actually trying to say. And I like it being up to interpretation. But then when you get to that scene where it's just straight up, she's telling you everything that is the message of the film. I'm like, it was funny. It was definitely funny. But that's where I was, for me at least, I was kind of pulled out a little bit. But then I was pulled back in right after that because the movie even kept on going. But that's just me. In regards to that scene, are we
I'm not even
talking
sure
about
what
that
scene you're
scene?
talking about. I have no idea what scene you're talking about.
I literally asked you before
I don't. Are you talking about the ending of the movie?
when you say like direct approach, like what do you mean? Do you mean like
I feel the message was very clear from the beginning. Like there was no digging.
okay,
Just
right. The scene I was talking about was in particular with the mom towards with Barbie and she's telling her like all the expectations of women and how that scene in particular.
No, we will come back to that scene.
I thought you were referring to that as direct approach versus the subtlety throughout the rest of the film.
If you think you got it, I don't think the film was subtle at all.
Oh god, yeah, we'll get into it when we talk about like the plot of the film.
Sure,
but
sure.
I feel like it was subtle in the right ways. Like it wasn't in your face, but at the same time, it wasn't too hard to dig for. I don't know. That was just me. But then when you get to that scene, they just outright say, "This is what it's about."
I think that it offered both. I think there is subtlety in terms of like what it means to be vulnerable and who's allowed to be vulnerable and who is not, and how people perceive like what life and change looks like and how that impacts you and how you consider what you want to do with your time in your life and who you want in your life to spend that time with. And so I think there's like some existential ideas that feel a little bit more subtle, and then some that feel like she literally asks about, do y'all think about death? So that feels a bit more direct. And then I think there are some plays on like we are now talking about patriarchy, and that is very direct because we're literally using the word patriarchy and kind of displaying that. But I think they give you a bit of both in terms of there is like a subtle underpinning that's built on until we get to Barbie and Ken's like last scene together, and then there is something that feels a bit more overt. And I think because they are more humorous with the overt messaging, as far as like he's reading these books and he's showing up at like different workplaces and trying to get jobs and like is learning about patriarchy along the way, and that's very loud. And I think that's purposeful, and frankly, I really enjoyed it and found that to be funny. But I feel like the film gives, like at least for me, gave both something that felt very overt and then something that was a little bit more subtle and open for interpretation based off of whatever you felt most connected to.
So what we have a layered film here. Layered film with subtlety, layered film with nail you on the head. It works. Somehow it works. What made it work? Let's get into this film. All right. Multiple things happening here. Let's start off with the beginning. Okay. We're in Barbie Land. Barbie Land is a mythical, magical place that is not that mythical. People know about it. Where everything's great. They beach all day, they party all night, and women are in charge. Women are in charge. Let me go off and first say Barbie Land might be one of the greatest set pieces I ever seen.
It's so good.
Yes.
All practical.
It is excellent. It is so good.
Love
the costuming, the set pieces, it's so colorful and beautiful, and yeah, it's great. It looked really, really wonderful. And I had Barbies growing up, and I loved my Barbies. And it just like even some of the set pieces, like the medical doctor little office.
Oh, the little unfoldable. Yes.
How it unfolds, and I had one of those. Like, it was great. So nostalgic.
Dr. Ken, you mentioned what did you mention earlier?
What did I mention?
The amount of pink
shortage.
The pink shortage.
Oh, right. I believe it when you see these set pieces. It's very colorful. And when you learn that there was like a worldwide pink paint shortage, yeah, I believe it. I definitely do. and it was all for the better, because yes, I do agree that this is some of the best set pieces we've had in films in recent memory. All practical, it looked like. I mean, that looked like a toy box come to life. And that's what I loved about it. The ocean was literally like all plasticky and it had like little waves. I like that it wasn't real water. The whole thing with like the food, and it was all like fake, and with the water, perfect. I love that element about it.
I think there's a lot of fun to be had when they're poking fun at the fact that Barbie is a toy, and they're not treating this world as if it's a real world. They are still toys. They are just portrayed by real life people, and I think that's such a great gimmick. I had a lot of fun with it, like the dog and its fake poop.
Every time her legs bent, it would bend the way like a Barbie's legs would bend, because you can only bend from the hip bone up. I thought that was cool.
Might be getting a little ahead, but the fact that they acknowledge that they don't have genitals, I think is also hilarious.
I love the fact that the cutting of the hair. I definitely cut my Barbie's hair. I thought I was some kind of hairdresser, and it was time, for change. So
you had your own weird Barbie.
I did. I absolutely did.
I think everybody's. I've cut toys' hairs before, not necessarily Barbies.
What toy?
I promise
Optimus Prime's hair.
I think as any child, give them some scissors, they're gonna find some hair to cut. Okay, that's a very real thing. Action figures had hair. I don't know if it was lifelike like Barbie, but I'm telling you, give me a pair of scissors when I was 4 years old. I'm gonna cut something. Okay. The inhabitants of Barbie Land are. Let's run through the inhabitants. We have Margot Robbie as stereotypical Barbie. I love how they had to point that out. Oh, who else we got in this film? There's Barbie. There's also Barbie.
Yeah, did you see Barbie?
I did see Barbie. Yes, I didn't know she was in this movie.
Yeah.
There's also Barbie. And there's Midge.
No one likes Midge.
No, the CEOs don't like Midge.
they don't like her either. They were shunning her away, weren't they?
They acknowledge Midge.
Or no, it was Alan. Alan was the one they were shunning away.
Nobody really likes Alan that much. Apart from Alan, though, because who cares about Alan? There's Ken. And there's also Ken.
Yeah, I saw Ken in there.
Right.
As well.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I saw Ken too. Sugar Daddy Ken.
Magical
I think that's it.
Ken?
Oh yes, that one. Yep. I want to say that was it for the Barbie.
We got a brief Skipper.
Skipper.
Briefly.
Another great addition. I love that. I love they're playing with a toy box come to life. You know, they get so creative making these dolls and figures that they can't bother to give anybody else a new name. That's just that Barbie. That's just that Ken. There's Alan. And I love that they're playing with it and they're having fun. One thing about, again, they're having a lot of fun with this film. And life in Barbie Land is perfect up until stereotypical Barbie during her wonderfully choreographed dance number to Dua Lipa's what's the name of that song? I was just playing it in the car. Hold the phone, hold up. That song is probably one of my new favorite. Dance the Night. Dance. I love it. 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 She has an existential moment. Does anyone ever think about death? And that kick starts the movie. Goodness, I feel like I'm ranting. Let me know if I'm ranting. Let me know if you need to interject or say anything. What? We good? We're okay? I'm gonna keep going.
No, you're exhibiting a lot of Kenergy right now.
Am I giving Kenergy?
You got some good energy.
Okay, this is where we're going. Okay. Sure, Kenergy. Barbie is noticing these changes within her world. She needs to figure out why Lizzo's not singing a great number to her waking up out of bed. That was hilarious. See, this stuff is great. Like, this is fun. This is fun. If this is a toy box come to life, somebody played the Barbie stereo cassette tape with Lizzo on it, and boom, it's narrating the whole thing. So creative. Mind you, Helen Mirren is here too, narrating everything as well. Lady Helen Mirren, Dame Helen Mirren. Love it. Oh, we didn't even talk about the opening with the 2001 Space Odyssey.
Oh, I mean, that was in the trailer.
Okay, I don't think they showed the smashing though.
No, they did.
Was good.
They did.
The smashing of the dolls?
The smashing of the dolls where the girls like slam. Yeah, that was in the trailer.
Oh. Well, it was great.
Not the initial trailer, but yeah.
Oh, okay. It was great. Dolls, women, you have to be mothers. That's your one purpose. Here's a doll to learn how to be a mother.
Barbie changed everything.
Barbie changed everything. I don't think people realize how much Barbie changed. Or did it change everything? That's what this movie asked. And what a great question. What a great question. Because Barbie here, Margot Robbie, I get it. She wants that perfect life. That perfect life. She's perfect, you know? Because perfection, it comes easy to the Barbies. But as weird Barbie that they say behind her back and to her face says, you got to go to the real world. You got to figure out what's going on. Somebody's playing with you. Somebody's playing with you. And you got to get to the bottom of this. Or our world is collapsing. Or something. That's the plot.
Drastically, yes. Yeah.
Yes. What a plot. I don't know. I like this. Again, everything feels so kind of, I feel there's this commentary on like purpose, and you know, I feel we talk about this with Toy Story too. We did our little Pixar deep dive, we talked about the Toy Story films. Yes.
Wow, yeah.
Get Nino Desplazado on here. There's this commentary about, you know, the purpose of these toys. Like, they exceed just being a toy.
Right.
It ain't just that.
You know, it's so fascinating. Not to get too much into what my job does, but I just did this training about just imagining what type of future that you want for yourself. And I think it's interesting how toys allow for that creativity and for people to imagine, I don't know, different scenarios that they want. And then at some point, you know, as we grow older, we find different ways to, I don't know, find meaning, which is kind of an underpinning of, and then eventually there is some dialogue and conversation about what it means to exist and how to create meaning and finding things that feel connecting to you in your life. So I think there is something to this idea of like what toys offer kids and maybe even adults, and how you can see yourself in toys, um, and then when it starts to change and what it means when it starts to change, because I think that feels like a big piece of what this movie explores. So I do like that you brought up kind of Toy Story and what they're able to do in that. I think there are 4 movies, but specifically in the trilogy at least.
Yes, in the original. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think this movie, yeah, even as you said, like when you become an adult, what do toys mean? You know, there's this I don't know, toys are like escapism. Toys are very, you know, it's a break from reality, which a lot of this film felt like a break from reality. And we get that when Barbie arrives in reality. I think us as an audience are drawn back into this is the actual real world. It's not as fun. It's not as colorful.
Could
You know,
I have so many thoughts about the initial scene as far as them rollerblading. There was some
oh,
dialogue about
Mm.
how she was like, the differences between how Ken and Barbie were responding, and like
yes.
this feels like there's something kind of like with an underpinning of violence going on here. And I was just in the theater like, yeah, it's the experience. And no, I found that to be, from them going from the rollerblading to like the cowboy outfits, there was just a lot there of her kind of getting thrust into the real world that felt very like, that is what it's like.
Yeah.
And it's so unfortunate that it is like it's just kind of a reality. Like, yeah, I there are certain things that I experience and understand, but like dampen for the sake of like trying to navigate my life and move forward and do what I need to do. So it was so interesting seeing somebody in a context where like this is the first time they're experiencing it. So they pointed out as like, oh, this is like extremely like screwed up. Like, why are people treating me in this way? And so I thought that was such an interesting like, yeah, piece of like throwing her, from Barbie land into into the real world.
And I feel that we've seen similar plots before with this let's take these cartoon characters, take these toys, let's put them in the real world, let's see how they react. But
Oh,
you know,
what's
immediately
that movie with
Fat Albert,
no, Tyra Banks, the
A
original.
life
life
size.
size, which a lot of
Size.
people are trying to compare to.
Did life size walk so Barbie can run?
I don't think so. I think life
I think
size
they're
is
doing,
Put
they're
some
doing
respect.
different things.
yes, completely different things. I think life size just said, here's a toy who don't understand nothing. All right. Barbie comes into the real world and she says, women are not what it's not as it's perceived to be in Barbie world as far as what we represent as women. Why? What's going on?
And I'm glad they went with that route in this movie, because my biggest fear, and I feel like the trailers don't do it enough justice. My biggest fear with this movie was it was just going to be another fish out of water type of story. Like, Barbie manages to escape Barbie land and now she's in the real world, but oh no, the real world is not the same as her world. So now she has to adjust, but look at all these silly antics that she gets into. I like the minimal time we spend in the human world, because then we get back to Barbie land literally not too soon after that. And I like that we get to jump into the area that we actually want to see. I was telling Grandmaster Ken after the theater, I'm like, wow, I can't believe Barbie did it first, before Sonic, before Transformers, where they understand that we want to see the titular characters in their home habitat. I don't care about the real world or the humans, even though there are some likable humans in this movie, but I like that the writers, directors for this particular film, they recognize people want to see the Barbies and the Kens and all the other characters, the Alan, the one Alan, just get into shenanigans, in particular in Barbie Land.
That's a great point.
So I love that. And I feel like, if people were kind of hesitant based on the way the trailers were seeming to be, because I thought it was going to be that type of movie. I thought it was going to be a fish out of water story. And I feel like the movie really isn't that. It's a lot better than that.
Yes.
So yeah.
Fat Albert can eat shit.
Oh, God.
I hate to be mean.
You're right, but no, that's
hey. Let me stop. Yes, they spend enough time in the human world to get what they need to get it back on track in the Barbie world. So what we learn, well, what an interesting ride, as you said, like when we do the lineup of Ken and Barbie as what they are experiencing, Barbie's learning about, the women as how they are actually perceived in this world and what they actually think of Barbie when she has the conversation with what's her name, up and coming rising star Ariana Greenblatt. Great little conversation with her. Got called a fascist, might be a bit too far, but so, and then on the other half you got Ken. The patriarchy, that's great.
Horses.
Bret Michaels looking outfit.
It was.
Yes. Okay, cool. I was like, is that Bret Michaels? I feel it's giving Bret Michaels. All right. Got that. People ask Ken what the time is. Ken's loving it. And I think that sets up a perfect, in the third act as far as, how Ken feels. Because one thing the trailers did not reveal, I don't want to call Ken a villain, but Ken is a pseudo villain or, antagonist.
An antagonistic force.
Sure.
Yeah, and I would say too, I thought what they ultimately did with Ken was so interesting. You have, frankly, what I think happens a lot. You could probably open up Twitter and see just discourse about like dating and how people act whenever they potentially like somebody. And so you are introduced to Ken as him being like super infatuated with Barbie, and it's Barbie and Ken, and I have to be like really invested in her, and there's really nothing about me that I pour into. And so when he's exposed to all these other possibilities, despite those possibilities being toxic,
hella toxic.
There is this like, I think he tries to take this opportunity to figure out and find himself in not a healthy way, and then we see the ramifications of that and how that starts to turn his relationship with Barbie into a completely different direction. But I just thought it was really fascinating that yes, I would say the villain here is the patriarchy, but you could see that frankly, I think one of the messages is that like these larger systems don't just negatively impact one group of people. It has a negative impact on everybody. And so we saw that with Ken kind of turning into a jerk. Not the most pleasant to be around.
I don't even know if jerk is the right word. He done took over a whole country, a land.
The Kendom.
He said, I gotta come back and rally the troops.
And rally he did.
We've been doing it wrong. Women shouldn't be in charge. Quite. And that's what I'm talking about, nailing it on the head. They just said, patriarchy's bad. They're eventually going to come for everybody. Women, don't get comfortable. You got Ken's coming. I find that, again, patriarchy is not hilarious. This movie is hilarious. Okay, let's get one thing straight. Okay. We also get introduced to America Ferrera, who, dare I say, might be the breakout star for me in this movie.
Who was that?
Oh my God, you're
Help me
killing
out.
me.
Maybe there are listeners that don't know.
Okay, America Ferrera, as we know, Ugly Betty. Si
Ugly
se
Betty.
puede.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Okay. I know Ugly Betty.
Astrid from the How to Train Your Dragon franchise.
She's Astrid.
She is Astrid. Yes, she
has
is.
a Golden Globe. She has a
Golden
SAG. She's got
Ooh.
an Emmy.
Ooh.
Superstore.
Superstore. That one too.
I was just about to say that.
Plays our human protagonist, the mother. Yes, and proves that, hey, I love Barbie, and even as an adult. And why can't Barbie represent everyday people? Why does Barbie got to be perfect? Women aren't perfect. Women have cellulite. Hell, even men have cellulite. Okay, I think. Pretty sure that's true.
Literally.
Okay.
Yes. Each body is diverse in its experiences, and everyone has imperfection. That's just how life is.
Right. And we all have deep analytical thoughts, and that's okay. Some of us just trying to make it day by day. Why can't we have that in Barbie? And you have people like Will Ferrell, who again, I think perfect casting him as the CEO of Mattel. And that's literally his name in the movie, the CEO of Mattel.
Perfect. Perfect. Giving off the Lego movie vibe.
Lord Business, you're right.
Lord Business.
Yes.
What was that his name in Lego movie?
Yes, that was his name in the Lego movie, Lord Business.
They literally typecasted him.
Well, he's Lord Business, but then he puts on his evil helmet and then he becomes president. No, I'm sorry, he's President Business and then he's Lord Business.
Okay.
Yes. Perfect
That's
casting.
Funny.
Perfect
it was
casting.
perfect casting.
Get
in the box, Jezebel. Oh, can we not say that?
I do think again it was very funny that of course the entire executive, and I know this is very much like intentional, the executive board and all men making a product geared at least towards girls and women. So
there was a CEO in the 90s and a time before that.
Well, so at least two.
At least two. Oh man, no, he was perfect. He was perfect for the role.
I think the casting in this film is top notch. I mean, we haven't even really talked about Margot really yet. Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was gonna say, did we mention Ariana Greenblatt, the daughter already?
We mentioned her.
Okay. Did you know she played young Gamora in Infinity War?
I did know that.
I did not know that. I knew she looked. I recognized her from something. I'm like, where have I seen this child?
You
before?
recognized her under that green skin?
I swear to God, I did, because I'm like, who is this? I've seen. I think I even did. I ask you about her in the theater? Maybe not.
Nope.
I recognize. I'm like, who is she? I don't. understand.
You asked about Alexandra Shipp. At least that's who I thought you were talking about.
Who is she?
She's one of the Barbies.
Oh, okay. I think. Okay, yeah. I think I know which one. A lot of them look recognizable.
She's Nobel Peace Prize Barbie.
Nobel Peace. Okay, yes, Nobel Peace Prize. Okay. Yes. I don't recognize her from any other works, but I feel like
Ariana Greenblatt was also in The Heights. She plays another young version. She plays the young version of Nina. So yeah, I gotta give Margot Robbie her flowers here, and I know a film like this is gonna get. I mean, I really hope it does not get overlooked. But I really enjoyed Margot Robbie throughout this whole entire movie. Like, I felt she was giving the right emotions, various times throughout. She's really good at crying. I was really falling for the tears. And she's funny. She's genuinely funny. What would you think of her? Dr. Barbie?
Yeah, I believe the first thing that I recall seeing her in was probably Wolf of Wall Street.
I think that was her first big starring role.
Yeah, I think she was in she was a series regular in I think maybe an Australian-based TV show, but I could be wrong. But yeah, The Wolf of Wall Street, I think, was the big like Hollywood feature film, like where lots of people are going to get eyes on her and her performance. And so that's the first time I can really just recall seeing her. And she's had such an array of like films that she's been in since, like stuff that are like big blockbusters. Of course, we know she's Harley Quinn. You know, we've seen her in the various Suicide Squad ideations. Um, but she's been in things like that, some smaller films. Like I think you briefly brought up I, Tonya. Um, and she was in Babylon, which I don't know if you would count that. Like it was a very big production, but certainly didn't make as much of a noise as folks thought it would in this last award season. And so she has had her hand in a variety of different genres. I think more recently she's been producing a lot more, and has been, yeah, I think just very much present as a figure in Hollywood, as not only an actress but a producer as well. And so I thought she was great in the role, and I think there was this balance of her being really funny and having like these quips and trying to figure out kind of the like, I am Barbie, but maybe am I something else? And oh, what do I do with all this new knowledge and these different reflections I'm having about myself in life? And so there was like these funny elements, but also like a lot of heart. And I could like really feel for her that like yeah, change is hard, and if you haven't experienced it before, like, and she truly hasn't, because as we see in the very beginning of the movie, her every single day is the same for her. That I think it was fun seeing her journey throughout the film. So.
No, agree. Dr. Ken, are you feeling similar about Margot Robbie and her performance?
Oh, she was great. She was fantastic. I'm kind of with you on there with the whole like when she was getting teary-eyed in certain scenes. I'm like, oh, are we there already? No, she was selling it. She was selling it. She was doing really, really well. Because like you felt for her in some of those scenes. She felt lost. She didn't know what she needed to be, what she wanted to be. And I feel like in some stage, a lot of us have been through something like that at some stage in life. So she was perfectly casted for the role. Amy Schumer could never. Never.
Oh gosh, leave her alone.
No, it needs to be said. I'm sorry. In an alternate reality, we got a different movie.
Yes, we did. Who would have thought Barbie could make just this nice parallel to this real world ism that we got going on as a character and as a film as a whole? Very well done. There's a lot of silliness still to be had with the human world sequences. Again, it's a zany film and it knows it's zany, so I'm glad even in the human world it plays to the zaniness. Will Ferrell chasing them around that building, I thought was comedic gold. It's just so stupid. He's like, let me climb over the cubicle. It's faster. It wasn't. It's just silly stuff going on.
That was all improv.
I think it was all improv. The whole the turnstile. He's like, oh, we need our key card.
Yeah.
The turnstile was funny. I think there was a lot of silliness within the human world, and then upon returning to kind of Barbie world, I think I keep toggling back and forth between Barbie world and Barbie land, but.
Which is
like
it
Disney?
Barbie Land or Barbie World? Which one?
Barbie Land.
Okay.
I just keep going back and forth. It's one of those, but regardless, when I get back and there is this like Western saloon horse focus of the Kens.
Yes.
That really cracked me up. That really cracked me up.
What is it? Pour me a brewski, Barbie.
A brewski.
Beer me,
Brewski
Barbie.
brew? Brewski
Yes.
beer? What did they say? There was a lot of like multiples of the same words being used. So like dojo casa house. And
Ken's
Yeah.
Dojo Casa House. I really loved this part of the film. I thought, as much as there is a celebration, I feel, of like womanhood, I'm so glad they called out some of these toxic traits of men that I recognize in myself too. Not that it's even toxic, but like just borderline could be just annoying. This was a fun part of the movie. I really like that we actually spent time here. I feel in any other movie like Fat Albert, the world is going the cartoon world is going to shit, and the moment Fat Albert gets back, it's saved again. That's not what happened here. It went to shit.
Fat Albert is just catching strays.
Fine. Here,
Why do
Rocky
you
and
hate Fat
I'm just
Albert?
like
Rocky and Bullwinkle. What? Oh, you should I? What else is there? I
It's just
have
funny.
little to
I'm
work with
sorry.
here.
Go ahead. No, it's fine.
If you got anything else, I gladly take
I
it.
don't. You got it. You got it.
Okay. I'm glad we got this time in this post-apocalyptic Barbie land where the Kens rule and now the women are drones. I feel this was a lot of fun. There goes our president serving beer. Issa Rae's Barbie. It's just fun. It's just a lot of fun having here, and I feel there's some truth to it, as far as, I don't know, men exposing other men to their habits and traits that, I think there's this idea of what it means to be masculine and whatnot. I think there's a little bit of that in this film too, and it's fun to explore through Ryan. And again, I think I don't know if we talked about Ryan Gosling much. Also does a fantastic job as just this guy who just wants to be seen, and and the one person he wants to be seen by does not see him, so he just wants to feel this sense of, I don't know, purpose, this sense of like, don't take me for granted.
Yeah, I want to be valued.
Yes.
I want you to see me for what I'm worth, and that hasn't happened. And I think I found something that would make me feel good and make my other Kens feel good. Unfortunately, that thing happens to be something very toxic. But, I think that happens, in a lot of different circumstances, like you said. But it boils down to like Barbie wants purpose and meaning, and Ken wants to be valued and seen.
And sometimes it doesn't align, and I think there's a commentary on relationships too, as far as communication is really key here, and I think that's explored very well through this Kendom, the Kendom. I guess that's this part of the film. The Kendom is a lot of fun. I like also too conceptually how what goes on in Barbie Land / Kendom affects the real world. These Ken Dojo Casa houses are selling through the roof. And I don't know. I think it's just genius to kind of just explore this idea that, I don't know, boys weren't. I mean, I wasn't playing with Ken dolls. Shout out to anybody who was, but God forbid if people said Ken dolls were cool, or I don't know. Dr. Ken, did you play with Ken dolls?
I didn't play with Ken dolls specifically, but Max Steel, if you want to call that a Ken
doll, is a doll.
A doll is a doll. I had a Max Steel doll, and I'm sure if you paint it a certain way and take off the gizmos and gadgets, it's literally Ken's plastic body. So yes, I guess Max Steel's. That was my
action
Ken.
figures are dolls. Action figures are dolls. If they made I don't know, Spider-Man by Barbie, I would have my hands all over that.
Oh,
Do you want to buy a Spider-Man by Barbie?
like with the same opposable limbs that
Yeah.
does it actually shoot webs?
It doesn't actually shoot webs.
No, I don't want it. I don't want it. I can't do anything. I can't throw it across the room.
I think there's this underlying kind of rule placed on men and or boys and placed on girls as far as what's acceptable to be played with and whatnot. And then, you know, it's whatever. I think this film it's not purposefully trying to explore that territory, but it's fun to think about as far as, you know, if the world said Ken dolls were cool, there'd be a lot more boys playing with Ken dolls, you know. I mean, I'm speculating. I don't know. I don't actually know.
It's very likely. A lot of people want that external validation. You know, you want to be accepted by your peers. So yeah, Ken was cool. I imagine more people would be playing with Ken dolls.
Not Alan, though, of course. Not Alan.
No, Alan was catching strays
Alan.
too.
Yes. Poor Alan.
He's doing his best.
We get Barbie has another meltdown / existential crisis. You know, it's no longer Barbie's dream house.
It's not.
Throws all her clothes to the floor, to the streets. Actually, yeah, pretty much leaves her for the streets. She's imperfect now. We get this commentary on, you know, perfectionism and, you know, the demands of being a woman. And now we're at that quintessential scene, Dr. Ken, with America Ferrera and how she blatantly, you know, expressed what it means to be a woman. Now, Dr. Barbie, I'm going to ask you. So our theater, they applauded at the end of her speech. And I thought that was a deserved applause. I think it was great. I don't know. America Ferrera, I feel, is often slept on. Again, that's why she break out for me.
Is. No, she's incredibly talented. You know, we literally read her accolades.
We did.
Not that long ago. So yeah, she just hasn't always. I think she's been very successful in television. So I'm so glad that we get to see her in her big mainstream movie. So I love the scene, frankly. It reminded me a lot of, so there was a scene in Little Women between Saoirse Ronan's character and Laura Dern's character in the attic. And this particular scene, at least America Ferrera, reminded me of that scene where there's this monologue of like just what it means to be a woman and the experiences and the contradictions and what you're trying to hold as you navigate your relationships, both like with yourself and with other people, and the like frustrations that come with having to hold things that don't fit together consistently. And so it just reminded me a lot of that scene with Saoirse too, of just describing loneliness and the desire for independence, but like also just wanting to be loved. And so I appreciate that Greta continuously comes back to this like this experience of like you're not just one thing, that a lot is happening, that people are nuanced, and I really liked the scene. So no one applauded in my theater, but I was internally applauding.
We had a very lively theater.
I liked our theater.
I did too.
Unlike Mission Impossible.
Correct.
Dead Reckoning.
Absolutely. If you can't tell people at home, we are wearing pink.
Yeah, you can really tell from
I don't think you can.
This
you
is
can
pink.
barely
This
tell
is
from
pink.
mine. This is pink as well.
I'm in pajamas,
People showed
but
up
I
in
did have
pink.
I
That's
did have
cool.
like pink earrings.
You had pink earrings. Okay.
That's enough.
No. I think in Troves people showed up in pink.
Right.
I honestly think this movie is on record for having one of the best openings of this year.
I was shocked with how many people were actually showing up for Barbie. I mean, I knew it was gonna do well. I just, seeing like, I guess it's one thing to see like a theater packed, and then visually you can actually see, oh, they're clearly here for this movie. There's no ambiguity. Not everyone has a Spider-Man shirt when they go see Across the Spider-Verse. You can dig in your closet and find something pink to go see the Barbie movie, and literally almost everyone there was wearing pink.
We had some people dressed up as Ken as well.
Like the
Cowboy Ken at the bar.
Cowboy Ken, yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh. And Cowboy Ken actually got a shout out. Like, he shouted out. So I love when my interest cross, because I don't know if people saw on social media that the outfit that Cowboy Ken wears, so like the black shirt with the fringes, was the same outfit that Jimin from BTS wore in the Permission to Dance music video, and he made a shout out to that on the internet. So I just want to throw that out there for my own personal investment in that.
This I did not know.
Yes, I do love that outfit.
You do.
And now you know. Yes, absolutely.
All right, thank you. Of BTS fame, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, got it. Okay. You hear that, folks listening? Jin was being represented here.
Jimin. It is Jimin.
Jimin. Sorry, Jimin.
Yes.
Very
Jimin.
nice. Okay, I did not know that. I'm thinking about Jimin. What were we talking about before?
we just
the
theater showing up for pink.
Theater showing up. Right.
There were some people in black in solidarity for Oppenheimer.
Yes, the line in the sand was drawn for the Barbenheimer weekend. I think they were just dressed in black. I was just joking when I said
it was
black
way no. They were all dressed in black. It was way too much of a coincidence. There's no way.
As they stood outside of Oppenheimer, it was the contrast was funny to see. Probably a speck of black in a wave of pink. Let's talk about we're in the falling action now. We have the Barbies need to deprogram themselves with the help of weird Barbie, played by Kate McKinnon, who again is excellently used here. Her kookiness, her weirdness, yes, very funny. The scenes involving breaking the Barbies out of their little trance, very well done. I will share how I relate. Okay, so they had one of the Kens played by Kingsley Ben-Adir, who will be playing Bob Marley in the Bob Marley movie, and he is currently in Secret Invasion on what you call it. I thought this was so funny. The Ken who explains The Godfather while The Godfather is playing. That is me. That is where I saw myself.
That was really. I did laugh out. I'm pretty sure I was the loudest laugher in my laughter.
Lefty.
Thank you. Yes, it's late. In my theater.
I made that up.
That's fine. I'm going with it. Because I did laugh a lot at it. I did.
Did y'all see yourselves in anybody at any point in that sequence?
America Ferrera.
Okay. Oh, you were America Ferrera? Spouting that wisdom.
I hope so, yeah.
Okay, cool. Dr. Ken?
I guess
Are you the Photoshop?
Which one?
The Photoshop?
Yes. This is the reason why you can't drag the image is because you got to go under the layer and make it edit.
Oh,
Photoshop Ken. Yeah.
That was clever. And then okay. America Ferrera explaining to the women to get them out of it. Okay. Now, okay. Yes, I see that, and I see the Photoshop. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Barbie stepping up and playing Ken for the tool that he was being. uh approaching him about finally what is the long distance unacquainted girlfriend, the
The long-term, distant, non-committed, something like
Non-committed.
that.
That's important. That was in
we,
there.
they should have said problematic. That's what they should have called it.
That's just a disaster.
A situationship. That's what it felt like. He finally said she's ready. He said, "Give me one moment. Go ahead, take it. One of y'all can take it."
Oh, what?
What he said when he had to have a moment for
Oh,
You mean Sublime?
Sublime.
I feel there is so much truth to that right there.
Wait, did we talk about the musical number?
We're almost there. We're almost there.
Okay,
It's
okay,
coming right
I-
now because
okay.
this was the catalyst. Was that
Mhm.
Ken now is singing Matchbox 20 at the fire, and Barbie takes out her phone. God, they nailed it. Put your damn phone away, Barbie. God, I took that personally. I
I was
really
about
did.
to ask, has that happened to you before?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Can't
And it worked.
stand it. I felt for Ken. I really did. I was rooting for Barbie, but I felt for Ken. So I get it. I like Matchbox 20. I don't know if that would have been my song of choice.
He sang it for 4 hours.
Staring into her eyes the whole time.
Yeah, she was locked in.
Don't know if I would have gone with that approach, but the fact that all the Kens were doing it, it's a freaking tool shed. Freaking tool shed.
That's what it is.
Pits the Kens against one another. The Kens are going to go to war. While the Kens go to war, the Barbies are going to vote to have Barbie Land back.
Absolutely.
And what we get here, I don't even know words can describe it. It was just pure bliss. Which I'm waiting for the soundtrack to. It's probably out now. The soundtrack, the Ken song, which I think it's called the Ken song. I think.
Actually, you're right. It should be. Let me check Spotify while you.
Yeah. No, it's out. What the hell happened here? The
It
Kens
started off as a battle, an all-out fight, with the Kens, Ken versus Ken. It was Simulu's Ken army versus
Simulu's yes.
Ryan Gosling's Ken army, and it was just shenanigans, like little spears and bow and arrows.
The suction cup bow and arrows.
The suction cup bow and arrows. And then it just slowly divulges into a dance number. And it was an intricate dance number. This was fantastic. What was it?
Beyonce hands, I would describe them as, but then the jazz fingers go out.
Right.
We get a costume change situation that occurs in the middle of the number, which I do appreciate. I love a collective, how do we all know the choreography moment, and that was present as well. Where everyone just all of a sudden knows the 8 count. It's great.
I just feel this movie must have been so much fun to make.
I imagine so. It had to be.
Yeah, they're just having a great time. And I'm waiting for TikTok. People are gonna recreate this dance for sure. And do little flash mobs, all in black, doing this little dance, the Ken dance. And goodness, it's just fun. And the whole time I'm like, what are we doing watching this? Where's Barbie? Is it that easy? The Kens get into this dreamlike sequence.
She got thrown into the background for a good while. It was 10, 15 minutes.
This song lasted about 4 minutes.
Yeah, easily.
But I was with it. I'm here for it. I was like, Okay, we should be focusing on Barbie, but this is fun. This is so much fun.
I
They
loved
did.
it.
They did the
Yeah.
damn thing. And shoot, from there, I feel the film wraps up with a nice little bow. The Barbies went unanimously. No, I said
Oh,
that wrong.
unanimously.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Unanimously. Sorry.
Teamwork.
Thank
That's
you.
all right.
Unanimously, unopposed, and they vote for Barbie Land back. The women are back in power.
Period.
Yep. The kingdom is done.
Period.
But we do have this nice moment between Barbie and Ken.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we talk about that?
Yeah. I think, y'all, it is okay to have platonic relationships, and sometimes people don't feel the same way romantically about you, or you feel about them, whatever the situation may be. And I think it's important to be honest about that. And I really appreciate it that they kind of subverted what potential expectations would be of, like, because it's true, we hear Barbie and Ken, and I really like that they broke down kind of that as like it's Barbie and it's Ken, that we're two separate people that live our lives and have our interests, and we don't have to be bound by what people expect out of our relationship. So I thought it was, a really lovely shift and what could have been between the two of them.
It was nice too, because Will Ferrell, the CEO, comes back and says, what's her happy end? They ask, what's her happy ending?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Barbie and Ken, her true love. And Ariana Greenblatt, that's not her ending. I like that. I think if this Barbie movie is made 20 years ago, Barbie ends up with Ken.
Absolutely.
Hell, 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah. I'm glad it was made now and it didn't end in such a generic fashion. No, it was great. I love that ending. A lot better than what it could have been. Amy Schumer could never. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Are you done? Are you done?
I am done.
And sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, note to self: Fat Albert and Amy Schumer are on the target board as far as who we're trying to take aim at.
Y'all take a lot of aims. What was the other one? Rocky and Bullwinkle? Who else?
Rocky and Bullwinkle. I am sure I am missing some others.
Leave him alone.
You were slightly shady with Life Size.
Life Size can get it too. Yeah.
Leave Life Size alone.
Hell no. Shine bright, shine
so
far,
that
my
this
ass.
movie could soar.
Where you live, where you are, be a star, my ass. No, Eva's not great. No.
Wow.
I also appreciated the actual ending that they did give Barbie, in terms of we get this scene with who we learn is the kind of the representation of the creator of Barbie, where there's some really beautiful dialogue about about wanting to be the one who creates meaning, and not the one that is made. And ultimately leading to Barbie deciding, like, I think I want to be human. I kind of want to experience life. I don't want life to kind of, I want to be a part of having freedom and choice, and to make mistakes and experience change and grow old and die, whatever, all the things that are part of life. That something I was thinking about as I was watching the movie is like how much, and there was a scene that reminded me of that too, that I thought was really beautiful. Was it like a bus stop where Barbie is sitting with an older woman?
Oh,
He just tells her, you're beautiful. And I think something that it reminds me of is that it's something really special to grow old. I don't think sometimes we think of it that way, but like so many folks don't get that opportunity to live a long life in which they get to experience so much of that life and what comes with that. And I think Barbie ultimately makes that decision about something that she wants. And I thought that was another really cool element that was added to her story. From where we see her, where it is this like I'm replicating every single day, and this is great. You know, that's the best day ever. And ultimately, that shifts for her by the end of the film. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I think the shift was well earned by the end of the film. I think at one point Issa's Barbie said it too. You know, I think Will Ferrell mentioned, let's go back to how things were before. We can make your world like this never happened. And she says, you know, it's okay to change. It's all right if we don't go back to what we were before. They have all grown from that situation. A very real world element was added to their fantasy, and therefore it's hard for them to kind of just, oh, never happened. No, it's good to adapt to change. And again, yes, I think every ounce of that was earned through Barbie's journey. And then that ending too, even after her little very come to God type of moment with the creator, Ruth Handler. One, I was like, oh boy. This is what it looks like to talk to God. This is her talking to God. Again, I compare it to Toy Story. This is what
Toy Story.
This is what would happen if Andy talked to Woody. This is what it would be.
You could be whatever you want, Woody. You don't need my permission to go out into the real world.
There it is. That's it. I like that. It works. And then the final ending with, goodness gracious, I thought Barbie was about to apply for a job at Mattel.
That was really funny.
That was hilarious.
It was so funny.
Should we spoil it for our listeners? I mean, again, hopefully everybody watched the movie if you're listening.
We've spoiled a lot if you haven't at this point.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Well, earlier in the film, you know, they mentioned that they don't have genitals, but I guess Barbie making the, you know, commitment to be human, she went and saw her gynecologist.
Period. Take care of your health, everyone.
Love that. Love that.
I am curious. I know something that each of us I kind of alluded to is, you know, that we had our own critiques. There are parts of maybe the movie that didn't work as well, or I'm curious about what those were. I think Dr. Ken had already alluded to some things that, like, as far as like subtleties and things that he prefers in his movies. I'm curious, are there other things that y'all wish were maybe a little bit different, or maybe didn't completely work in a way that connected to you?
Again, very few. If I were to really critique this film, again, it's very minor. I think at some points it felt like they were juggling, trying to make sure America and Ariana were part of the story. At times, just it's not like it was blasphemous. It wasn't terrible. Just at times, you know, we were going between like 3 story arcs. We were with Will Ferrell and the CEO team, Ariana and her crew, Barbie, and then Ken. And, you know, I like it a lot of times where it's just, we're just moving along with either one character and then we introduce characters into their stories and then we continue to move along. Not too, maybe I'm spoiled, but I'm not always a fan of going back and forth. So if that's a pacing issue, you could put it under that umbrella. I think that's honestly probably it for me. I think not all the jokes hit. I'll say that. That's okay.
Are you sure? You were laughing at everything.
I was not laughing at everything.
Everything.
I thought to myself, I said, am I laughing too hard? Was it that funny?
So in other words, the times that you were just crying in laughter, it was just, oh man, am I forcing this?
No, there were times where they got me. There are other times where I was like, they could have let that one go.
No, I agree. I think there were times kind of throughout that I was like, oh no, like we mentioned, you know, for those of you because we did not press record yet, we were making jokes about like Duolingo. I had to do my own Duolingo, and there was a Duolingo joke in the movie. And so there are things that, I definitely found funnier than others. So I agree. I think some of the jokes hit, some didn't. Um, and frankly, I also agree in terms of um, some of the pacing and some of the structure. I'll be honest. Um, Will Ferrell, I really liked the first scene as far as like we get introduced to the fact that he is CEO and that there is like this boardroom full of men, and there's the box and then the chase. I would have been okay if he was I did not see the executives again after that.
Fair
Like,
enough.
I think I was invested in other characters. I really liked just that scene, the ridiculousness of them crawling over, the cubicles and the key card. But when I saw them after that, I was like, oh, this is taking time away from some of the other characters I have some more investment in. And so I think, I agree in terms of like what are we kind of juggling and using our time for? Because I did like America Ferrera's character, and so I did like spending time with her, but then I really liked kind of stuff that was happening in Barbie Land. And so I will say there were some things that I feel like it just wasn't as invested in, which was probably some of those then jokes that didn't land as much for me, and things that didn't feel as funny because I was like, oh, I like some of these other people or other characters. I want to spend more time with the Barbies or the Kens, and I think that's to Dr. Ken's point a little earlier of like, I am so glad that they spent quite a big chunk of time in Barbie Land, because that's what I was most like, that's what I cared about the most. So I think there were a few little pacing things and some jokes. Just like most comedies, there are going to be things I find funnier than others. So those are the things that I can think of that really stand out for me.
Dr. Ken.
Oh, things that I didn't like.
Yes.
I mean, kind of just what I said earlier. Some of the more obvious messages, like they're trying to really beat it into you. There was really only one scene, like I mentioned, it's the scene with the mother and Barbie. I would prefer a scene like that be like layered like an onion with some subtext in there throughout the movie, even though it already was. But yeah, some jokes didn't land, and that was okay, because the ones that did land, they landed. They stuck the landing. Yeah, and I guess the subplot with like the mother-daughter thing, it was kind of there, but then it fizzled away. I thought that's kind of like what we were like, I guess, climaxing towards when Barbie was supposed to go to the real world, and I thought it was gonna be like a whole spiel about the mother and daughter rekindling their relationship again, which they did, but it wasn't really a driving force of the movie, which I'm okay with. But at the same time, it's like, well, what was the point? Exactly, why was it here? So that was kind of but I mean, whatever complaints I have about the movie, they're really minor in the grand scheme of things. This movie was fun. I did not think I would be going to a Barbie movie and walking out thinking, oh, damn, that was a great movie, that was really good. But here I am.
Yes, here you are.
It was great. It was fantastic. I liked it a lot.
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think what's so cool about at least the summer thus far, I think there's a couple more movies that are on the horizon, but that we've gotten kind of a variety of, like, Oppenheimer is also coming out this weekend along with Barbie. We got Mission Impossible last week, for folks that are more invested in maybe some action. And, there have been some smaller films released throughout kind of the summer too. I saw Asteroid City, and we had Spider-Verse. So I think it's been a really fun summer of movies compared to like, I can't recall which podcast it was. I don't know if it was something that y'all mentioned or somebody said something about how like dry last summer was. that there wasn't really a lot, and so I think we've just had a lot of like rich films of different types this summer, and that's been really fun. So
Yeah, a nice variety. This is the kind of film I welcome at this point in the summer. June was kind of late May to mid June. It was back to back to back, and then it was kind of go to the movies, go catch Asteroid City, the other one that I'm supposed to watch where the people fall in love since like childhood.
oh, Past Lives.
Past lives. Go watch Past Lives. And people like skipped out on Elementals and whatnot. And then this film, I think, brought a lot of people back. They said, just come enjoy this silly movie about Barbie and walk away with that silliness we promise, but also with just this very nice little through line about I don't know, just women are strong. We love women, okay? And men can be fragile, and that's all right. It's still a fun movie. Have fun dancing with Ken. Have fun watching Barbie. Feel what it's like to be flat-footed. It's fun. This is a fun movie. Do y'all have a favorite sequence? Like favorite moment of the movie? I'll go first.
Dance number in the beginning. The
first one. Okay,
the first
me
one.
too.
I
Me
like
too.
the first one.
Done.
I was
easy.
I was in it. I was really in it. I kind of didn't want it to end by the time it ended. But yeah, that was mine.
I wish they would have closed on that one. I wish everything would have been nice and they did one more nice dance number for the credits. I would have loved that. But that's not the movie they gave us.
Yeah, I did like I just liked being introduced to like the land and so seeing what her day is, the Lizzo song, kind of narrating it basically. I really loved that. I also loved the when the clothes are being thrown out of the house, that like there is this pause.
Oh yeah, I like
because
that.
the costuming is so fabulous. I love movies. I love movies with good set pieces.
Oh, it better get nominated.
Please
and
nominate
costuming,
this movie. Costuming.
Like it looks so good. And every single it's all the characters too, because even like America Ferrera and her character had some really fun clothes, and each of the Barbies having their own different style. So no, I really appreciated kind of being able to see that too. But yeah, musical numbers certainly stand out, but just being able to be in the land, the world, like that was really, really fun for me.
I want them to bring us back to this land somehow.
Barbie 2.
I mean, mind you, all we have to do is take a car, take a spaceship, take a
boat,
rollerblades, the camper,
yeah, the camper,
the random camper where they're not actually like progressing, they're just hanging clothes on a line.
That's okay.
Take us back, Barbie. What a fun movie. I think that's it from us. Yes, here at the Yonko table. All right, cool. If you haven't seen the Barbie movie, do what you will. We can't necessarily say go watch it, but hey, this is our review. So if you enjoyed what we heard or what we said, thank you for the support from all your various podcast listening stations, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Support we receive on all social media, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Dr. Ken's support on Twitch. And again, if you have anything you'd like to say about the Barbie movie to discuss with us, please join the link below and join our Discord. We'd love to hear from you. But the Barbie movie, it's out. Do yourself a favor. And that's all I'll say. That favor could be whatever it wants to be. All right, how shall we end this thing? Barbie movie.
Oh no. Imagine we should. I'm a Barbie girl.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I don't know the updated version that played over the credits, but
Oh,
No.
I know what I'm gonna say.
what are you gonna say?
Time for Oppenheimer now.
Get in the box, you Jezebel.
Everyone is Kenough.
Oh,
You're enough.
You are
Oh!
Kenough.
Si se puede. Did you catch that?
I did see that. Yeah, I did
Oh,
catch
I
that.
got
That
it
was funny.
too.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I did. I was
Him
there.
and Rose the Crafter had no idea.
I'm part of the club.
Get out.